with a conflicted judge who should have never been allowed to try this case, never. And we will fight for our Constitution. This is long from over. Thank you very much.
What's up, guys? Bow-Tied Owl here. Today we have big news on the Trump front with his guilty conviction of 34 felonies. This is not a political post, but today we're going to analyze his post-verdict speech, as it's pretty telling. Stick around near the end where we see his finger point, as it's the most important cue we see when talking about the judge. We'll cover what that means. As always, make sure to give the video a like and subscribe for more content like this. Let's get into the analysis.
Mr. Trump, what do you have to say to the American people?
Mr. Trump, how did it go to be evicted ballot?
So we see Donald Trump approach the podium, and his posture is strong. He's open and upright. His head is looking straight ahead, and this is good news for the Trump fans, as it indicates he's not necessarily beaten down by this verdict. Normally, we'd expect to see slumped shoulders, maybe some dragging of feet, his head down, looking down if he was down and out. Moving on to his initial facial expression, he has a very serious, intense demeanor. That's not unexpected. His eyes are narrowed, his mouth is set in a firm, straight line, and the lack of smile and overall tension in his face suggests a controlled, focused, and possibly a defensive or confrontational emotional state.
Are you worried about going to jail?
This was a disgrace. This was a rigged trial by a conflicted judge who was corrupt. It's a rigged trial, a disgrace. They wouldn't give us a venue change. We were at 5% or 6% in this district, in this area.
So just a quick observation. So normally Trump is very animated in his gestures, and we don't see that here. And normally a lack of gestures in a typically animated person often indicates heightened stress, cognitive load, emotional control, discomfort, or a strategic adjustment to the situation. Given the situation, it seems like a fitting response.
This was a rigged, disgraceful trial, but the real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people, and they know what happened here, and everybody knows what happened here. You have a Soros-backed DA and the whole thing. We didn't do a thing wrong. I'm a very innocent man.
We get an important statement here of, I'm a very innocent man, I didn't do anything wrong. When we hear bold statements like this, we look for cues of deceit, stress, or anxiety. Normally, if there's deceit, stress, or anxiety, we would see some sort of facial touching, maybe some excessive blinking or fidgeting. And we don't see any of that here. In fact, we see a very stoic demeanor when he says it. He looks direct into the camera and finishes his statement. Now, some of you more experienced body language analyzers would say, well, I see some asymmetric blinking, which typically indicates lying. But notice, this is part of his physiognomy or his baseline. It's not a change.
And it's okay. I'm fighting for our country. I'm fighting for our Constitution. Our whole country is being rigged.
So right after his statement of I'm an innocent man, we see him straighten up after another statement. And he says, it's okay. I'm fighting for our country. I'm fighting for a Constitution. Again, there's no head movement, no gestures, no real movement at all. No indicators of lying. He believes what he's saying.
Right now, this was done by the Biden administration in order to wound or hurt an opponent, a political opponent. And I think it's just a disgrace. And we'll keep fighting. We'll fight till the end and we'll win.
So we got two things here. The first is we should notice an elevated blink rate as he talks about Biden. Typically, this indicates stress, anxiety, high cognitive load, or emotional discomfort, and sometimes deception. While he seems mostly calm talking about the Biden administration, I'd go ahead and say he is nervous or stressed about this. They're definitely under his skin. Now, moving on, we see some head twitching. Typically, when we see this, this is nonverbal leakage, where involuntary movements reveal underlying emotions. In this case, the twitch probably indicates internal tension or conflict about the statement being made.
Because our country's gone to hell. We don't have the same country anymore. We have a divided mess. We're a nation in decline, serious decline. Millions and millions of people pouring into our country right now from prisons and from mental institutions, terrorists, and they're taking over our country. We have a country that's in big trouble. But this was a rigged decision right from day one with a conflicted judge who should have never been allowed to try this case, never. and we will fight for our Constitution. This is long from over. Thank you very much.
All right, that was...
And finally, we get to where he talks about the judge and notice a couple things. His eyebrows are furrowed and drawn towards the nose. He has squinting eyes, and he's pointing his finger, which typically indicates a threat. This is his first gesture of his speech. And based on this, he is seething with anger about this judge. And I don't know if I've ever seen him this mad in public. Analyzing Trump's post-verdict speech, we observe a strong and upright posture, indicating resilience. His serious, intense facial expression, combined with a lack of his unusual animated gestures, suggests heightened stress and emotional control. When he declares his innocence, his stoic demeanor and direct eye contact imply he believes his words despite some baseline asymmetric blinking. As he discusses Biden, an elevated blink rate points to stress or anxiety, showing the administration is under his skin, and head twitching further reveals underlying tension. When he addresses the judge, his furrowed eyebrows, squinting eyes, pointed finger indicate intense anger and a threatening stance, marking his first gesture in his speech. This level of anger towards the judge is notably strong. That wraps up the analysis. Make sure to give the video a like, subscribe for more content, and don't forget to grab your copy of Read the Room. It's free. The link is in the bio.